Okay, so the next thing that we are going to talk about is los adjetivos. So, adjetivos, adjectives, these are words that describe. So, an adjective describes a noun. And as we learned before, nouns have a gender and a number. And so, adjectives, since they describe or modify the noun, they must also have a gender and number and they have to match. So, these are some common adjectives. We have el hombre y la mujer, so the man and the woman, and then some adjetivos comunes. So notice that these adjectives have the o and the a, and so we have alto for a male if you were describing a male, and it would be alta for a female. And then bajo, baja, rubio. Rubio is her hair. And then pelirrojo, ella es pelirroja. El niño es moreno. El niño es moreno. La niña, el niño. El hombre es viejo y delgado. Viejo y delgado. El hombre aquí es alto y calvo. Calvo no tiene pelo. No tiene pelo. La mujer es rubia y baja. Hay dos perros. Dos perros. Este perro es grande y feo. Pobre perro, es feo. Este perro es pequeño y bonito. Okay. So, amigos, adjective agreement. As I just said, they have to agree or match in gender and number with the nouns that they modify or describe. So adjectives that end in o change to a when they are describing a feminine noun, just like we saw before, feo, fea, alto, alta, etc. Adjectives that end in a, or a consonant do not change when describing a feminine noun. So like inteligente, inteligente, right? Trabajadora would be trabajador. The adjectives that end in a, it's actually when they end in ista. So like realista, optimista, pesimista, etc. And then you're going to follow the same rules that you learned for pluralizing words or nouns as you're going to use to pluralize adjectives. So here is a summary of the adjective agreement with the different word endings. So ending in o, it's going to be o, a, os, as. If it ends in a, like I said, it's really actually ista, not just a, but ista. It does not change from masculine and feminine, but it just becomes plural. And then ending in a, again, does not change for masculine and feminine. The same concept with consonants. They're just going to add the S here because it's a vowel, and then ES. So other adjectives that fall into here, like I said, inteligente, interesante. And then ideal could be liberal, conservador, but that actually comes down to this category is when they end in OR. So think an easy way to remember this is typically it's not hard to remember profesor, profesora, but for some reason, when it comes to adjectives, it can be a little bit confusing. So here are some examples. El profesor es bajo. La profesora es alta. Okay, los niños. So notice this is masculine plural. Los niños son inteligentes y simpáticos. Now here we have plural feminine. Mis amigas son trabajadoras y honestas. So you see the nouns are the subjects as well. Then we have the verb ser. So all of this you've learned so far, ser. And then the adjectives match. So here's another noun, the verb ser. Masculine plural, masculine plural, masculine plural. All right. Then feminine plural, feminine plural, feminine plural. Okay. All right. So then in Spanish, there is a gender neutral option. So the Royal Spanish Academy, which is a consortium of scholars, they get together and they decide if there's going to be an update or an addition or a change to the grammar, similar to how we have in English. If there's going to be a new word added to the dictionary, a group of scholars get together, they decide if they're going to add it to the dictionary, and then they do it. So the gender neutral option for subject pronouns and for adjectives has not been officially adopted by the Royal Spanish Academy, the Real Academia, but because there are several individuals who don't identify as male or female, these adjectives and the gender neutral option is becoming more common because Spanish is a gendered language. So instead of using the o or a, they will use the a ending for adjectives that end in o in order to show gender neutrality. So instead of saying like él es alto, lindo y simpático, or ella es alta, linda y simpática, they're going to use the e ending. So ella es alte, linde, simpátique. So you notice all of these end in e. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of practice now. Okay, so ¿cómo es? ¿Cómo es is when you are asking, what is something like? What is something like? So we've seen the question, ¿cómo está? I'm going to put here 1 second. My do not disturb. Pardon me 1 moment. So, ¿cómo es? We've seen, ¿cómo estás? Is like, how are you doing, right? ¿Cómo es? Because we're using the verb ser instead of estar, it's asking, how are they characteristically speaking? Or in English, we would say, what is he like? What is she like? And so you can use this question, ¿cómo es? For all different things. ¿Cómo es tu familia? ¿Cómo es tu clase? ¿Cómo es tu amigo? ¿Cómo es tu perro? What is your dog like? See? And so let's think, how would we describe? So we're going to put all of what we've learned so far together into one use. Okay, you're going to be describing. So, ¿cómo es Patrick Mahomes? What is Patrick Mahomes like? ¿Cómo es Patrick Mahomes? So, pause and write down how you would describe Patrick Mahomes. So, you'll start out with your subject pronoun, él, then the verb ser, and then give an adjective. So, pause and write that down. Okay, so you could have said something like, él es atlético, él es famoso, él es moreno, etc. ¿Cómo es Serena Williams? So this is going to be ella. So pause and write down how you would describe her. Okay, ella es atlética. Ella es famosa. Ella es rica. Ella es morena. So you see, él es atlético. Ella es atlética. Él es famoso. Ella es famosa. Él es moreno. Ella es morena. Él es rico. Ella es rica. All right, next one. ¿Cómo es J-Lo? ¿Cómo es J-Lo? Pause and write down your description of J-Lo. Ella es bonita. Es morena. Es talentosa. Es talentosa. Es famosa. All right. Now, ¿cómo son? So notice we have a group. So what are they like? Todas son mujeres. They're all women. ¿Cómo son? So this would not be ella. Like here we have ella es. It's going to be ellas son. So pause and write down how you would describe these women. So you could write something like, ellas son atléticas, famosas, trabajadoras, fuertes. Fuerte, F-U-E-R-T-E. That means strong. Fuerte. So that's one of those adjectives that ends in E, fuerte. And it's the same for masculine or feminine. Ellas son fuertes. All right. ¿Cómo son Patrick y Travis? ¿Cómo son? Pause. Okay. Patrick y Travis. So the pronoun to replace them is going to be ellos, right? This is ellas because it's all females. They, ellas. They, ellos, because it's two males. ¿Cómo son? Ellos son atléticos, famosos, ricos, cómicos, trabajadores, hardworking, fuertes, F-U-E-R-T-E. Remember, what does that mean? Strong. Add that to your vocab list. It's a really useful adjective.